If I love you, I'm in love with you. I don't give how many times we get it, we bump heads.
That's real.
You make me mad. I'm in love with you. Don't down me.
And so people saying Memphis rapper Fast Cash C Money just passed away. For the people that don't recognize him, he had the viral song High Off Me that went viral. If I ain't tripping, I think that's his biggest song, but he sadly just passed.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me.
Imagine signing your dream record deal, celebrating with your crew, and just hours later, you're gunned down. That's exactly what happened to Memphis rapper C Money. But here's where it gets chilling. Fans believe his death wasn't random at all. Big Boogie just dropped cryptic messages that point the finger straight at CMG, and even Yo Gotti himself. No tributes, no support, just silence. Was C Money's death a street tragedy, or was it a calculated sacrifice from inside his own label? Let's get into it. Big Boogie may have just set the internet on fire with a revelation nobody saw coming. In a cryptic moment, he strongly hinted that C Money's death wasn't just a random tragedy, it might have been a sacrifice. And the jaw-dropping part? He pointed the blame directly at his own label head, Yo Gotti. For years, Boogie played the loyal soldier under CMG, but this time his words made it clear, he's finished protecting the empire. What he suggested is chilling. C Money wasn't simply overlooked, he was sidelined, and the very people who claimed to represent him may have been the ones who benefited most from his death. This wasn't just shade, it was a bombshell. Boogie ripped the cover off CMG's Hidden Truths, and now whispers are spreading that the label itself could be on shaky ground. Between the lines, Boogie's message was sharp. If CMG goes down, he won't be going down with it. Now fans are left with a haunting question. Was C Money's death just another violent twist of Memphis street life, or a betrayal from within the very camp he trusted? The spark that set it all off came from a short, faceless video Boogie posted online. Only his voice, raw and unfiltered. At first, people scrambled to decode his message. But when the follow-up IG story dropped, the speculation erupted into chaos. Then came the post that flipped the situation upside down. Boogie wrote, "Right now, my focus is on my daughter, myself, and my career. Nothing and nobody is getting in my way. By 2026, I'll be a completely different man. I'm evolving every single day." He went on to reveal a more vulnerable side, admitting that people rarely check in on his mental state, and because of that, he stopped opening up to others. "I barely talk to anybody anymore, and honestly, I don't even care to. Everyone who ever played with me is the reason I am the way I am today."
What happened, gang?
They just said my got killed.
Boogie's next words only deepened the storm. "Today I'm focused because I see a bigger picture for my own life. Numb and grinding." He never mentioned Yo Gotti or C Money by name, but he didn't have to. The message was loud and clear. He was cutting ties. Fans instantly picked up on the undertone, connecting his detached, fed-up tone with the rumors already swirling about C Money's death. Before Boogie spoke out, suspicions lingered, but nothing felt solid. Sean's passing had always seemed too precise, too sharp to dismiss as random street violence. So when Boogie admitted he no longer cared, many took that as confirmation. Overnight, whispers into a full-blown scandal unraveling in real time. C Money's case was already casting a shadow over Memphis. He was gunned down during a shootout in the Fraser neighborhood. At first, it looked like another heartbreaking headline of senseless violence. But everything changed when raw, unfiltered footage of the incident surfaced online. The video didn't scream random. It screamed targeted. Someone wanted him gone. Period. And once that doubt was planted, fans became investigators, digging for more. What surfaced was chilling. Word spread that C Money himself sensed danger weeks before it happened. He reportedly took steps to protect his girlfriend and children, as if he knew something was coming. That revelation stopped people cold, because if he saw it coming, the tragedy starts to look less like chance and more like betrayal. If C Money really saw it coming, then maybe this wasn't street drama at all, maybe it was something much bigger. That's why he was grinding so hard, chasing that official stamp from Yo Gotti and CMG. He believed locking in the contract would secure his future, but he didn't stop there. According to sources, C Money took it a step further. He reportedly set up a life insurance policy to protect his girlfriend and children, a safety net in case the worst happened. And considering the chaos and uncertainty swirling around CMG, That decision almost feels too logical. But here's where it gets chilling. After his death, the payout never came. Instead, his girlfriend Ka was forced to launch a GoFundMe just to cover his funeral expenses and provide something for their kids to live on. For many fans, that wasn't just heartbreaking, it was a red flag that made the whispers even louder.
Dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere you go to, like the Fed watching. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy right here. That boy ended up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right now because they you know what I'm talking about? The case is in August. You know what I'm talking about? I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder.
Ka poured her heart out on Facebook, posting a tribute that stopped people in their tracks. Courtney taught me so much. I'm so glad we got to love on each other. You really took my heart with you. All I can do now is play your music just to hear your voice again. The internet froze. If C Money truly had a plan in place, why was his family left scrambling like this? Sure, he was still on the rise, but nothing about him suggested he'd abandon his loved ones without protection. If the whispers about that insurance policy and his preparations were true, then something clearly went wrong, and not by accident. Then came the twist that lit the fuse. Days after his death, a leaked portion of his contract surfaced on Reddit. The document hinted that if tragedy struck, CMG was supposed to pay out. But when people looked closer, that money was gone, like it had never existed. All eyes immediately shifted to Yo Gotti. Fans expected him, at the very least, to step up for C Money's family. After all, the young artist carried the CMG name. But instead of compassion, what they got was silence. No statement, no tribute, no support, nothing. And in the streets, silence is never just silence. To many, it looked like confirmation of the darkest theory yet, that Yo Gotti himself might have had a hand in the betrayal. Whispers turned darker, accusing Yo Gotti of sacrificing C Money, profiting from his death while leaving the family with nothing. And the timeline only fueled suspicion. C Money had officially signed with CMG just one day before he was killed. Hours before the tragedy, footage captured him and his crew celebrating the new deal. Then, out of nowhere, a car pulled up and unleashed a hail of bullets. Police reported that several houses were hit, but somehow, the only life lost was C Money's. Coincidence? Or was the so-called shootout staged chaos, designed to mask a calculated hit? And from here, the story only gets darker.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't fuck with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me. So
C Money was already buzzing in Memphis before Yo Gotti ever came calling. He had the talent, the hunger, and the momentum. Signing with CMG was supposed to be his ticket to the big leagues. But once he stepped inside, it didn't take long for him to see that something was off. C Money wanted structure, real plans, business meetings, rollout strategies, documents that mapped out his future. He wasn't just chasing clout. He wanted a career. But to him, it felt like Gotti wasn't treating the deal seriously at all. Instead, it looked more like Gotti was focused on how C Money could benefit CMG, not how CMG could elevate C Money. The red flags were right there, and he didn't ignore them. What really shook him was when Yo Gotti started moving in ways that felt straight up shady. Anyone who knows Memphis street politics understands how deep the tension runs between Gotti CMG camp and Young Dolph's paper route empire. That beef wasn't just about music, it was personal, heavy, and dangerous. After Dolph was murdered, a lot of eyes turned toward Yo Gotti and his brother Big Juk. In the streets, whispers spread that Big Juk might have been the one to give the order. From that moment, every move CMG made was under a microscope. The pressure only got hotter when Hernandez Govan was arrested in connection to Dolph's case, because Govan wasn't just anyone, he was close friends with Big Juk. That connection made the rumor mill explode. Then Big Juk himself was killed in a violent hit that mirrored the same kind of energy Dolph faced. To some, it looked like karma finally landed. To others, it smelled like raw revenge. But what nobody saw coming was how badly things were about to spiral for CMG and everyone tied to it. Yo Gotti runs CMG like a boss straight out of a gangster flick, tight control, loyalty above all, and a hierarchy where betrayal doesn't go unpunished. Cross him, break the code, and you'd feel the consequences. For years, Yo Gotti's iron-fisted approach seemed untouchable. CMG had the kind of roster other labels envied, Glorilla skyrocketing, 42 Doug holding weight, Moneybag Yo dominating charts. and black youngster always ready to ride for the team. But after Young Dolph's murder shook Memphis, that mob boss image stopped looking like strength and started looking like something far more sinister. Cracks began to show. Artists weren't sticking around, momentum was slipping, and suddenly the only real star keeping CMG in the spotlight was Glorilla. And as talented as she is, one artist alone can't keep an empire standing. For Gotti, that was a nightmare. CMG wasn't shaping up to be the dynasty he'd envisioned. It was crumbling. So, he went quiet. He posted less, moved in silence, and word on the street was that he even started tweaking contracts behind closed doors. It looked like desperation. Gotti wanted the narrative flipped back in his favor, and the only way to do that was by cutting off anyone who refused to fall in line with his new agenda. Just look at Black Youngster. For years, he'd been one of Gotti's most loyal soldiers, but even his position started to look shaky once the new rules came into play. Black Youngster had always been the muscle, the enforcer, the one willing to handle situations Gotti wouldn't touch himself. That kind of loyalty was priceless back when Gotti leaned fully into the mob boss persona. But now, as he tried steering CMG in a different direction, that same energy made Youngster look less like an asset and more like a liability. That's when Gotti began searching for new blood, fresh faces to reshape CMG's image. And that's where C-Money came in. At first, C-Money brushed off the warning signs, chalking them up to the usual industry politics. But the deeper he got, the clearer it became. Signing with CMG wasn't just a career decision, it was a gamble that put his entire life at risk. He wasn't just navigating music contracts anymore, he was caught between street wars and label games where one wrong move could turn fatal. The truth hit hard. Gotti wasn't really looking to nurture the next star, he was looking for control. C-Money thought he was stepping into the biggest win of his life, but in reality, he was walking into a trap. Behind the scenes, whispers spread quickly. Some claimed Gotti saw C-Money as disposable, a pawn to test loyalty, a rookie to see if he'd fold under the same pressure that had broken other CMG artists. But C-Money wasn't built for submission. He had his own mind, his own vision, and his own for success. And that independence might have been the very thing that sealed his fate. C-Money's independence made him dangerous in Gotti's eyes. Think about it. Yo Gotti had already lost Dolph to the streets, lost Big Juk to retaliation, and was watching CMG splinter piece by piece. For him, maintaining control wasn't just business, it was survival. And anyone who threatened that control, even unintentionally, became a problem that had to be dealt with. That's why so many fans believe C-Money's death wasn't random at all. The timing was too sharp, too suspicious. He had just signed to CMG, just started celebrating his win, when suddenly a car pulled up, bullets flew, and he was the only one who didn't make it out alive. People aren't buying the coincidence anymore. Adding fuel to the fire, insiders revealed that C-Money had begun raising questions behind the scenes. He reportedly wanted more say in his contract, more control over his releases, and the chance to build a career on his own terms, not just play the role of another pawn under Gotti's thumb. And that alone may have sealed his fate. Gotti's history shows he doesn't tolerate defiance. In his mob boss-style world, loyalty comes before everything. No exceptions. Once an artist shows signs of thinking for themselves, the walls start closing in. What made the situation even more unsettling was the silence that followed. Normally, when tragedy hits, artists flood social media with tributes. But this time? Nothing. It was as if everyone had been told to stay quiet. And that silence made the whispers in the streets grow louder than ever. Meanwhile, Kaya's GoFundMe became a spotlight moment. How could an artist signed to one of Memphis's most powerful labels leave behind nothing but a fundraiser link for his kids? Where was the life insurance? Where was CMG support? Where was Yo Gotti? But Gotti didn't say a word. No statement. No tribute. Just cold silence. No condolences. No respect. Just silence. And to many, that silence spoke louder than any confession ever could. Now the streets are split. Was C-Money simply another casualty of Memphis beef? Or was his death the ultimate warning of what happens when you get too close to a label that operates less like a music company and more like a crime family? Either way, his story has fans questioning everything they thought they knew about CMG, Yo Gotti, and what it really means to sign that dotted line. To Gotti, C-Money wasn't just another artist, he was supposed to be the escape plan, a fresh face to distract from a crumbling empire. But when C-Money's life was cut short, the ripple effect hit CMG hard. And no one seemed to feel it more than Big Boogie. From the very beginning, Boogie's reaction made it clear this loss cut deep. In one of his first posts after the news broke, he wrote, "C Money Smith, Jesus brother. I'm hurt to my heart. My favorite rapper from day one. I'm hurt about you, boy." Those weren't the words of a label mate. They sounded like a man broken. The grief only grew heavier, leading Boogie to cancel his own birthday bash in Memphis. He announced it bluntly on Facebook, "I'm straight on Memphis. Birthday bash cancelled. You guys lame forever," tagging C Money's name with crying emojis. To outsiders, it may have looked like raw grief. But to those watching closely, it hinted at something deeper. Boogie's reaction wasn't just sadness. It was strategy. By cancelling his Memphis birthday bash, he was choosing to lay low and stay out of the line of fire. Fans agreed with the move, flooding his comments with support. "That was a good idea, bro. You just saved people's lives," one wrote. Another added, "He threw a pool party in Atlanta cause he knew if he did it in Memphis, it would have went sour. Do your birthday bash in Atlanta, gang." But Boogie didn't stop there. In the weeks after C Money's death, his posts turned cryptic, like puzzle pieces fans couldn't ignore. One read, "Everybody can regret what they did and said. Watch this." Another, "Going silent is my final warning." At first, people chalked it up to grief. But with C Money gone and Yo Gotti suspiciously silent, those words started sounding less like random thoughts and more like deliberate warnings. And then came the twist that sent chills through the industry. Stan G appeared on No Jumper with a blunt message aimed straight at CMG. He didn't sugarcoat a thing. He warned Black Youngster and the rest of the crew to watch their backs, saying, "Yo Gotti has no problem cutting people off, not just from contracts, but from life itself." While the label was still reeling from C Money's death, all eyes started shifting toward Big Boogie. Out of everyone tied to CMG, he was the only one bold enough to keep dropping hints, posting cryptic messages, calling things out, and indirectly demanding answers. But here's the dangerous part. If Yo Gotti really had anything to do with C Money's death, what makes Boogie safe? Silence won't protect him forever, it's just a ticking clock. And that's what has people scared. If Gotti is already looking for his next fall guy, Boogie might be walking straight into the same trap C Money never escaped. Which leaves us with one chilling question. Was C Money sacrificed? Or did Big Boogie just expose himself as the next target? If you're still locked in, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next drop.